The sleek Blacktown car idled at the curb, while Sophia Chen stood frozen at the bus stop, staring at the empty space in her leather bag where her wallet should have been. She had never taken the bus before, not in the 10 years since graduating from Harvard Business School. But this morning, her driver had called in sick, and she had impulsively decided to experience how regular people commuted to work. Now, standing under the plastic shelter with a light rain beginning to fall, she realized just how unprepared she was for this world. No wallet meant no credit cards, no cash, and no way to even board the bus that was approaching in the distance. "Excuse me," a deep voice said from behind her. "I think you dropped this back there." Sophia turned to see a man in worn jeans and a faded navy blue work jacket holding out her burgundy leather wallet. His dark hair was slightly damp from the rain, and he had the kind of face that looked like it had seen both laughter and hardship, with laugh lines around his eyes but a certain weariness in his posture. She guessed he was close to her age, maybe 32 or 33. "Oh my God," she breathed, reaching for it immediately. "Where did you find it?" "About half a block back, near that coffee shop. You must have set it down when you were checking your phone." He handed it over with a small smile. "Looked like you might need it for the bus." Sophia quickly opened the wallet, relief flooding through her as she saw everything intact. Her credit cards, her cash, her ID, all there. She looked up at the stranger with genuine gratitude. "Thank you so much. You have no idea how much trouble this would have been." "Please, let me give you a reward." She pulled out several bills, but the man held up his hands and stepped back. "No need, just glad I could help. Please, I insist, you went out of your way to return this." "Really, it's okay." His smile was genuine, reaching those tired eyes. "Just paying it forward. Someone helped me out once when I needed it." The bus pulled up with a hydraulic hiss, and the man moved toward the door. Sophia found herself following him, climbing aboard and paying her fare with shaking hands. She had been so close to disaster, and this stranger had saved her without expecting anything in return. In her world of corporate negotiations and six-figure deals, such simple kindness was rare. She sat down a few seats behind him, studying his profile. He pulled out a phone with a cracked screen and typed something, then put it away and stared out the window. There was something about him that intrigued her, something genuine that she rarely encountered in her daily life surrounded by executives and board members. When he stood to get off at the next stop, Sophia made a split-second decision. She followed him off the bus, her heels clicking on the wet pavement. "Wait," she called out. He turned, surprise evident on his face. "I'm sorry, this might sound strange, but can I at least buy you coffee?" "I really want to thank you properly." He hesitated, glancing at his phone. "I appreciate it, but I've got to get to work. Please, just 15 minutes. There's a cafe right there." She pointed to a small corner shop. "I promise I won't take up too much of your time." Something in his expression softened. "Okay, 15 minutes." They settled into a booth at the back of the cafe, and Sophia ordered 2 coffees and some pastries. As she sat down across from him, she realized she didn't even know his name. "I'm Sophia," she said, extending her hand. "Zachary Young. My friends call me Zach." His handshake was firm and warm. "So what were you doing taking the bus? You don't exactly look like a regular commuter." Sophia glanced down at her Armani suit and laughed. "That obvious. My driver was sick and I thought I'd try something different." "Clearly, I'm not very good at it." "First time? Is it that noticeable? You were holding your bag like someone might steal it at any moment, and you looked terrified when the bus pulled up." His eyes sparkled with amusement. "But hey, at least you tried something new. What about you?" "Where were you headed?" "Construction site downtown. I'm a foreman for a building crew." He wrapped his hands around his coffee cup. "Not glamorous, but it pays the bills." "There's nothing wrong with honest work," Sophia said, and she meant it. "What are you building?" "New office complex." 12 stories. We have been working on it for 8 months now." His face lit up as he talked about the project, explaining the challenges of the foundation work and the satisfaction of seeing something rise from nothing. Sophia found herself genuinely interested, watching the way his hands moved as he described the structural elements, the passion in his voice. "You really love what you do," she observed. "I do. It's solid, tangible. At the end of the day, I can see what I have built." He took a sip of his coffee. "What about you? What do you do that requires expensive suits and a personal driver?" Sophia hesitated. "I'm in business, corporate management." It was not technically a lie, though it omitted the fact that she was the CEO of Chen Industries, a multi-million-dollar tech company that her father had founded and she had taken over 5 years ago. Something made her want to keep that information to herself, to enjoy this conversation as just Sophia, not Sophia Chen, the youngest female CEO in Silicon Valley. They talked easily for 20 minutes, well past the 15 Zach had allotted. He told her about growing up in the city, about learning construction from his uncle, about the satisfaction of building things that would last. She told him about her love of architecture, her secret dream of designing buildings instead of managing software developers, her collection of architecture books. "I should really get going," Zach finally said, checking his phone again. "My crew will wonder where I am." "Of course." "Thank you for the coffee and the conversation, and again, thank you for returning my wallet." He stood, and she found herself not wanting him to leave. "Maybe I'll see you around," he said. "Maybe. I take the bus every Tuesday now," she said impulsively. He smiled. "Do you?" "I do now." After he left, Sophia sat for a few more minutes, her coffee growing cold. She could not remember the last time she had enjoyed such a simple conversation with someone who had no agenda, who did not want anything from her. In her world, every interaction was transactional, every smile calculated. Zach had been different, real. She pulled out her phone and called her assistant. "Marcus, I need you to rearrange my Tuesday morning meetings. I will be coming in late." "Is everything all right, Miss Chen?" "Everything is fine, just a personal matter." The following Tuesday, Sophia stood at the same bus stop wearing designer jeans and a cashmere sweater, trying to look less conspicuous than last week. Her driver had been confused when she told him she would not need him on Tuesday mornings anymore, but he had not questioned her. Few people questioned Sophia Chen. When the bus pulled up, she scanned the passengers as she climbed aboard. No Zach. Disappointment settled in her stomach as she took a seat and watched the city pass by. Maybe he took a different bus. Maybe he drove on Tuesdays. Maybe he had just been being polite when he smiled at her comment about taking the bus. She rode to the end of the line and then took another bus back, feeling foolish. This was ridiculous. She was a CEO of a Fortune 500 company, acting like a teenager with a crush. She had meetings to attend, decisions to make, a company to run. But the next Tuesday, she was back at the bus stop. This time, she saw him. He was walking up the street, carrying a metal lunchbox and wearing the same work jacket. When he spotted her, his face broke into a genuine smile. "You really do take the bus on Tuesdays," he said, coming to stand beside her. "I told you I did. I thought you were just being nice. I don't say things I don't mean." They rode the bus together, sitting side by side this time. Sophia learned that Zach was 33, 2 years older than her. That he loved old movies and spent his weekends fixing up the small house he had inherited from his grandmother. That his favorite food was his mother's pot roast, and that he had not seen her in 3 years because she lived across the country. "What about you?" he asked. "Any family around here?" "My father is in Hong Kong right now. Business. He is always traveling." Sophia kept her answers vague. "We're not very close." "That's tough. Family should be there for each other." "Should be, yes, but not everyone's family looks like the greeting card version." Zach nodded, understanding in his eyes. "Fair enough." So what does Sophia Chen do when she's not riding the bus and working in corporate management? "Honestly, I work. That is about it." "That's not a life, that's an existence." His words hit harder than he probably intended. Sophia stared out the window, watching the city blur past. "You are right." But when you have worked so hard to build something, it becomes hard to step away from it. Even for a few hours. Even for a few hours. Then you need better balance, Zach said. Everyone needs something outside of work, something that feeds the soul. Is that what construction does for you? Partially. But I've also got other things. He paused, seeming to consider his words carefully. I have responsibilities that keep me grounded, remind me what's really important. There was something in his tone that suggested more to the story, but the bus was approaching his stop. He stood, then looked down at her. Same time next Tuesday. I will be here. Good, and Sophia, maybe next time we could grab dinner instead of just riding the bus, if you want to, I mean. Her heart did an unexpected flutter. I would like that. His smile was worth every rearranged meeting. Great, I will give you my number. They exchanged phone numbers, and Sophia watched him disappear into the crowd at the bus stop. She rode the bus for another 20 minutes before getting off and calling her driver to pick her up. Her assistant would have been appalled at the inefficiency of her morning, but Sophia could not bring herself to care. That week dragged by. Sophia threw herself into work, finalizing a major merger and sitting through countless board meetings, but her mind kept drifting to Zach. She found herself wondering what he was doing, whether he was thinking about her, whether she was being ridiculous for feeling this way about someone she barely knew. On Friday afternoon, her phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number. Hey, it's Zach. I know we said Tuesday, but I was wondering if you'd want to get dinner tonight instead. No pressure if you are busy. Sophia stared at the message, her heart racing. She had a charity gala that evening, one she had committed to months ago. She was supposed to give a speech about women in technology. Canceling was not an option, she typed back. I have a work event tonight that I cannot get out of, but tomorrow, Saturday, his response came quickly. Saturday works. How about that Italian place on Morrison Street? 6 o'clock. Perfect. See you then. Sophia spent an embarrassing amount of time on Saturday preparing for dinner. She changed outfits 4 times, finally settling on a simple black dress that was elegant without being too formal. She left her hair down instead of in its usual tight bun and kept her jewelry minimal. When her driver asked where to take her, she gave him the address of a coffee shop 2 blocks from the restaurant. She wanted to walk the last part, wanted to arrive like a normal person. Zach was already waiting outside the restaurant when she got there. He was wearing dark jeans and a button-down shirt, his hair slightly damp like he had just showered. He looked good, really good, and Sophia felt that flutter in her chest again. You look beautiful, he said, and the sincerity in his voice made her blush. You clean up pretty well yourself. The restaurant was small and intimate, with checkered tablecloths and candles on every table. They were seated in a corner booth, and Zach ordered a bottle of red wine after checking with Sophia. I have to be honest, he said after the waiter left. I am a little nervous. You are nervous? Why? Because you are way out of my league, beautiful, smart, clearly successful. And here I am, a construction worker who is probably going to say something stupid and ruin this. Sophia reached across the table and touched his hand. You are not going to ruin anything. And for the record, you are definitely not out of my league. If anything, it's the other way around. Now I know you are just being nice. I already told you, I don't say things I don't mean. They ordered food and fell into easy conversation. Zach told her about a problem they had encountered at the construction site, a structural issue that had required creative problem solving. Sophia found herself offering suggestions based on her knowledge of architecture, and he listened intently, even pulling out his phone to make notes. You really do know your stuff, he said. You should have been an architect. Life had other plans. It is never too late to change plans. Some plans are harder to change than others. The food arrived, and they ate slowly, neither wanting the evening to end. Sophia felt more relaxed than she had in years. With Zach, she did not have to perform or strategize or negotiate. She could just be. Can I ask you something? Zach said as they were finishing dessert. Of course. Why were you really taking the bus that morning? A woman like you with a personal driver deciding to take public transportation. That is not just trying something new, that is running away from something. Sophia set down her fork, considering her answer. You are perceptive. Comes with the job, you have to read people, anticipate problems. I was feeling trapped, she admitted. My life is very structured, very controlled. Every minute of every day is planned. And that morning, I just wanted one moment of unpredictability. One moment where I was not Sophia Chen, corporate executive, but just Sophia. And how did that work out for you? She smiled. I lost my wallet, but you met me. But I met you. He reached across the table and took her hand. His palm was calloused from years of manual labor, but his touch was gentle. I'm glad you lost your wallet. So am I. After dinner, they walked through the neighborhood, past closed shops and under streetlights. Zach told her more about his life, about losing his father when he was young and having to grow up fast, about learning to be responsible and reliable because people depended on him. What people? Sophia asked. He was quiet for a moment. I should probably tell you something. I have a daughter. Her name is Emma, and she is 6 years old. Sophia stopped walking. You have a daughter. I should have mentioned it earlier, I know. It's just a lot of women hear that and run. Single dad, that is a lot of baggage. Where is her mother? She left when Emma was a baby. Said she was too young to be tied down, that she had made a mistake. I have not heard from her in 5 years. His jaw tightened. Emma doesn't even remember her. That must have been incredibly hard. Hardest thing I have ever been through, but Emma, she's the best thing in my life. Everything I do is for her. He looked at Sophia, vulnerability in his eyes. If that's a deal breaker, I understand. Sophia thought about what he was saying, about what it meant. A child. A 6-year-old girl who depended on him. This was serious, real-life serious. Not just a casual dating situation. It is not a deal breaker, she said, but I appreciate you telling me. The relief on his face was evident. Thank you for understanding. What is she like? Emma, his whole demeanor changed, lighting up with pride. She is incredible. Curious about everything, asks a million questions. She loves dinosaurs and wants to be a paleontologist when she grows up. She is smart, like scary smart, and she has this laugh that just makes everything better. She sounds wonderful. She is. She's at her friend's house tonight for a sleepover. First one ever. I have been checking my phone every 20 minutes to make sure everything is okay. He showed her his phone screen. See, no messages, which means she is having fun and not missing me. You are a good father, I can tell. I try. She deserves the best, even if I cannot always give it to her. They continued walking, and Sophia found herself thinking about Emma. She had never been particularly interested in children, had never seen them as part of her life plan. But the way Zach talked about his daughter, the clear love in his voice, made her curious. When they reached the coffee shop where her driver was waiting, Sophia turned to face Zach. I had a really wonderful time tonight. So did I. Can we do this again? Yes, definitely yes. He leaned in slowly, giving her time to pull away if she wanted. She did not want to. His kiss was soft and sweet, tentative but full of promise. When they pulled apart, Sophia felt like her entire world had shifted slightly off its axis. Good night, Sophia. Good night, Zach. She watched him walk away before getting into her car. Her driver said nothing about her smile, but she caught him glancing at her in the rearview mirror with a knowing look. Over the next few weeks, Sophia and Zach fell into a pattern. Tuesday morning bus rides, weekend dinners, long phone conversations late at night after Emma had gone to bed. Sophia learned the rhythm of his life, the way everything revolved around his daughter's schedule. She learned that he woke up at 5:30 every morning to make Emma breakfast, that he coached her soccer team on weekends, that he read to her every night before bed. She also learned about his financial struggles. The house needed constant repairs that he could not quite afford. Emma needed new shoes, school supplies, activities that enriched her life but strained his budget. He never complained, but Sophia could see the stress lines around his eyes, the way he carefully checked prices at restaurants, the way he wore the same few shirts in rotation because new clothes were a luxury. She wanted to help, wanted to throw money at his problems and make them disappear. But she knew that would change things between them, would introduce a dynamic she was not ready to navigate. He still did not know she was a CEO, still thought she was just a mid-level corporate manager. The lie of omission was starting to weigh on her. "I want you to meet Emma," Zach said one night over dinner. They had been dating for almost 2 months and things were getting serious. "If you are ready, no pressure. I would love to meet her." Yeah, she is important to you, which makes her important to me." His smile was radiant. "How about this Saturday? We could go to the park, get ice cream, keep it casual." "That sounds perfect." Saturday dawned clear and bright. Sophia dressed carefully in jeans and a comfortable shirt, wanting to look approachable for a 6-year-old. She met Zach and Emma at the park at 10 in the morning. Emma was small for her age, with dark curly hair pulled into 2 ponytails and her father's warm brown eyes. She wore light-up sneakers and a T-shirt with a T-Rex on it. She held Zach's hand tightly, studying Sophia with curious suspicion. "Emma, this is my friend Sophia. Sophia, this is my daughter Emma. Hi, Emma, your dad has told me so much about you." "He told me about you too," Emma said. Her voice was soft but clear. "He said you are really smart and nice." "Well, I think you are probably much smarter than me." "Your dad said you want to be a paleontologist." Emma's face lit up. "Do you know what that is? Someone who studies dinosaurs, right? And other fossils too, like ancient plants and animals. Did you know that birds are actually dinosaurs? They evolved from theropods." "I did not know that." "That is really cool." They walked through the park, Emma gradually warming up to Sophia. She talked nonstop about dinosaurs, about school, about her soccer team. Zach walked beside them, his hand occasionally brushing against Sophia's, a small smile playing on his lips. At the playground, Emma ran off to play on the swings. Zach and Sophia sat on a bench watching her. "She likes you," Zach said. "How can you tell?" "She's talking to you. If she did not like you, she would ignore you completely. Trust me, I have seen it happen." "I like her too." "She is amazing, Zach. She really is." He paused. "This is a big deal for me, introducing you to her. I do not bring women around her. I have not dated seriously since her mother left." Sophia turned to look at him. "Why me?" "Because you are different, you are real." "And because I am falling in love with you." Her breath caught. They had not said those words yet, had been dancing around them for weeks. "I am falling in love with you too." He kissed her soft and sweet, and Emma shouted from the swings, "Daddy, are you kissing Sophia?" They broke apart, laughing. "Maybe," Zach called back. "That is gross. You'll understand when you are older, sweetheart." They got ice cream after the park, and Emma insisted that Sophia sit next to her in the booth. She peppered Sophia with questions about her job, her house, whether she liked dinosaurs as much as Emma did. "I like architecture," Sophia said. "Buildings and how they are made." "That is kind of like dinosaurs, old things that were built a long time ago." "I never thought of it that way, but you are right. My daddy builds things too. He is building a really tall building downtown. Have you seen it?" "I have. It is very impressive." "Daddy says buildings are like puzzles. You have to put all the pieces together just right or they fall down." "Your daddy is very smart." Emma beamed. "I know." When it was time to leave, Emma hugged Sophia goodbye. "Will you come to my soccer game next week?" Sophia looked at Zach, who nodded encouragingly. "I would love to." "Good. I am going to score a goal just for you." Driving home, Sophia felt a warmth in her chest that had nothing to do with the late afternoon sun. She had never imagined herself in this situation, dating a single father, spending Saturday mornings at the park. But it felt right in a way nothing else in her life had felt in a long time. That night, she sat in her penthouse apartment, looking out at the city lights, and made a decision. She needed to tell Zach the truth about who she was. He deserved to know, and the longer she waited, the worse it would be. She called him, and he answered on the second ring. "Hey. We just got home. Emma is still talking about you." "Zach, I need to tell you something I should have told you a long time ago." His voice became cautious. "Okay, what is it?" "Not over the phone. Can we meet tomorrow, just us?" "You are scaring me, Sophia." It is nothing bad, I promise. I just need to talk to you face to face. They agreed to meet at the cafe where they had their first coffee together. Sophia barely slept that night, rehearsing what she would say, how she would explain. She had not technically lied, but she had not been truthful either. Zach was already there when she arrived, 2 coffees on the table. He looked worried, and Sophia felt guilty for making him wait overnight. "Okay," he said as she sat down. "You are making me nervous, just tell me." Sophia took a deep breath. "I have not been completely honest with you about my job. I told you I work in corporate management, which is true, but I left out some details." "What kind of details?" "I am not just in management. I am the CEO of Chen Industries." Zach stared at her. Chen Industries, the tech company, the one that just made headlines for that billion-dollar merger. "Yes, you're that Sophia Chen, the youngest female CEO in Silicon Valley." "Yes." He sat back, processing. "Why didn't you tell me?" "Because when we met, it was so nice to just be Sophia. Not the CEO, not the boss, not Richard Chen's daughter, just me. And then as we got closer, I did not know how to bring it up without it seeming like I had been lying." "Were you lying?" "No, but I was not being completely honest either, and I am sorry for that. I should have told you sooner." Zach was quiet for a long moment. "Is that why you wanted to take the bus? Because you were tired of being the CEO?" "Partially. I was tired of the performance of it all, the constant scrutiny, the pressure. I just wanted to feel normal for a minute." And slumming it with the poor construction worker, was that part of feeling normal? The bitterness in his voice cut through her. "That is not fair. I never thought of it that way. I never thought of you that way." "Didn't you? Come on, Sophia. You are a billionaire CEO, and I am a single dad barely making ends meet. You did not think that might be relevant information to share. Your financial situation never mattered to me. It still does not matter to me. Easy to say when you have never had to worry about money." He stood up. "I need to think about this. Zach, please. I am not mad, Sophia. I'm just trying to figure out how I feel about this, about you not trusting me enough to be honest. I trust you. I was just scared." "Of what?" "Of this. Of you looking at me differently, of everything changing between us." "Well, it has changed. You made sure of that." He softened slightly. "I need some time. I'll call you." He left, and Sophia sat alone with 2 cups of coffee and a heavy heart. She had known this conversation would not be easy, but she had not expected it to hurt this much. 3 days passed with no word from Zach. Sophia threw herself into work, but her mind was elsewhere. She kept checking her phone, hoping for a text, a call, anything. Her assistant commented on her distraction, and she snapped at him in a way that was completely unlike her. On the 4th day, her phone finally rang. Zach's name lit up the screen. "Hi," she answered, trying to keep the desperation out of her voice. "Can we talk, in person?" "Yes, when?" "Now, I can come to you." She gave him her address, then panicked. He had never seen her apartment, the penthouse that took up the entire top floor of one of the most expensive buildings in the city. But there was no taking it back now. When he arrived, the doorman called up to confirm his identity. Sophia told him to send Zach up, then stood nervously by the door, waiting for the private elevator to deliver him to her floor. Zach stepped out and immediately stopped, taking in the expansive space. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlooked the city, modern art hung on the walls, and the furniture probably cost more than his house. "Wow," he said simply. "It is a bit much, I know." "A bit." He walked further in, looking around. "This is where you live?" "Yes, and you were taking the bus." "I told you I wanted to feel normal." He turned to face her. "I have been thinking about what you said, about being scared, and I get it, I do. You live in this world that I cannot even imagine. But Sophia, the thing that bothers me most is not that you are rich. It is that you did not think I could handle the truth." "That is not true." "Is it not? You kept this huge part of yourself hidden because you assumed I would what? Treat you differently, want your money, not be able to see past the CEO? I don't know what I thought. I just knew that with you, I felt like myself for the first time in forever. And I did not want to lose that." Zach moved closer to her. You're not going to lose me because you are successful, Sophia. If anything, knowing what you have accomplished makes me respect you even more. But I need you to be honest with me, about everything. That is the only way this works. You are right, I should have told you from the beginning. Yeah, you should have, but I understand why you did not. He reached for her hand. We're learning each other, making mistakes is part of that. So you are not angry. I was. But mostly I was hurt that you did not trust me. I am trusting you with the most important thing in my life, my daughter. I needed to know you could trust me too. I do trust you, completely. He pulled her into a hug, and Sophia felt the tension drain from her body. We're okay, but no more secrets. No more secrets. They spent the rest of the afternoon talking, really talking. Sophia showed him around the apartment, showed him her collection of architecture books, the blueprints she had framed on her office wall. He told her about Emma's upcoming birthday, how he was trying to save enough to throw her a party with her whole class. Let me help, Sophia said. Please. Sophia, no. Why not? I want to help. Let me do this. Because I don't need you to fix my problems with your money. I am her father. I will provide for her. I know you will. You are an amazing father, but accepting help is not weakness, Zach. It is just being practical. He was quiet, clearly struggling. I have spent Emma's entire life making sure she had what she needed, doing it myself, being enough. You are enough, more than enough, but being in a relationship means sharing burdens, letting someone support you. That goes both ways. I don't know how to do that. Neither do I. We will figure it out together. Finally, he nodded. Okay, but I'm paying you back. Absolutely not. Sophia. Zach, I make more in a day than most people make in a year. Let me do something nice for Emma, please. It would make me happy. He sighed. You are stubborn, you know that? You have no idea. They planned Emma's birthday party together. Sophia rented out a science museum for the afternoon, hired face painters and a dinosaur educator who brought fossils for the kids to examine. She arranged for a custom cake shaped like a T-Rex and goodie bags filled with dinosaur toys and books. When the day arrived, Emma's face was pure joy. She ran from exhibit to exhibit, her friends following behind, all of them screaming with excitement. Zach stood with Sophia, watching his daughter. Thank you, he said quietly. This is more than I ever could have given her. She deserves it, and so do you. I don't know about that. I do. Emma ran over, dragging them toward the fossil pit where kids could dig for replica bones. Come on, you have to help me find the T-Rex skull. They spent the next hour on their hands and knees in sand, digging for plastic bones alongside 6-year-olds. Sophia's expensive jeans got filthy, her hair fell out of its careful styling, and she could not remember the last time she had laughed so hard. Later, after all the kids had been picked up and Emma was at home with a neighbor while they cleaned up, Zach pulled Sophia aside. I love you, he said. I know I said I was falling in love with you, but I am past the falling part. I'm there. I love you. I love you too, Sophia said, and she meant it with her whole heart. Even though I come with a ready-made family and a bank account that is always running on empty, especially because of those things, you are real, Zach. You care about what matters. You are the best man I have ever known. He kissed her, deep and passionate, right there in the empty museum. When they broke apart, both were breathing hard. Come home with me, he said. Stay the night. I want to wake up next to you. What about Emma? She's having a sleepover with her friend. Won't be back until tomorrow afternoon. They went back to his house, a small 2-bedroom that he kept immaculately clean. It was modest but homey, with Emma's drawings covering the refrigerator and photos of her at every age lining the walls. Zach's bedroom was simple, just a bed and a dresser, but when he pulled Sophia into his arms, it felt like the most luxurious place in the world. They made love slowly, tenderly, taking their time to learn each other's bodies. Afterward, lying in his arms, Sophia felt a peace she had never experienced before. This was what she had been missing, she realized. Not the physical intimacy, though that was wonderful, but the emotional connection. The feeling of being truly known and loved anyway. Over the next few months, they fell into a rhythm. Sophia rearranged her schedule to accommodate Emma's needs, attending soccer games and school plays. She taught Emma about architecture, and Emma taught her about dinosaurs. Zach started joining Sophia at some of her work events, uncomfortable in a suit at first but gradually finding his place. There were challenges. The media got wind of Sophia Chen's new relationship, and suddenly, their private life was being dissected in tabloids and business magazines. Photos of them at Emma's soccer game ended up online. Articles speculated about the unlikely couple and what it meant for Chen Industries. Zach hated the attention. He hated photographers showing up at the construction site, hated reporters asking his coworkers about his relationship. He especially hated the articles that called him a gold digger or suggested he was with Sophia for her money. "Maybe we should cool things down," he said one night after a particularly invasive article had been published. "Just until the media loses interest." "No," Sophia said firmly. "I am not hiding you. I am not hiding us. It's affecting Emma. She came home crying yesterday because some kid at school said her daddy was only dating me for my money." Sophia's heart clenched. "What did you tell her?" "I told her that I love you for you, not for what you have. And that people sometimes say mean things when they don't understand something. What can I do to help?" "I don't know. This is your world, Sophia. You tell me." Sophia thought about it. "I'll do an interview. Set the record straight. Make it clear that our relationship is real and that anyone who has a problem with it can take it up with me." "You don't have to do that." "Yes, I do. For you, for Emma, for us." She arranged an interview with a respected business journalist, someone she knew would be fair. She talked openly about meeting Zach, about falling in love, about the happiness she had found. She made it clear that her personal life was off limits going forward and that anyone who harassed her family would face legal consequences. The interview helped. The feeding frenzy died down, though they still got occasional attention. Zach learned to ignore the stares, and Emma learned that her father's relationship was not anyone else's business. A year after they met, Zach proposed. Not at a fancy restaurant or a romantic destination, but at home, with Emma hiding around the corner barely containing her giggles. He got down on one knee in their living room and pulled out a simple ring. "This was my grandmother's," he said. "It's not fancy, and I know you could buy yourself something much more expensive, but it means something to me. She had a good marriage, a strong one, and I want that with you." Sophia was crying before he even finished. "Yes, of course, yes." Emma ran out, screaming with delight. "You said yes." "Daddy," she said yes. "I heard, sweetheart." "Does this mean Sophia is going to be my mom?" Zach looked at Sophia, the question in his eyes. Sophia knelt down to Emma's level. "I would be honored to be your stepmom, Emma, if that's okay with you." "More than okay." Emma threw her arms around Sophia's neck. "I have always wanted a mom." They planned a small wedding, just family and close friends. Sophia's father flew in from Hong Kong, his first time meeting Zach. The two men were wary of each other at first, but by the end of the weekend, Richard Chen had given his grudging approval. "He's a good man," he told Sophia. "Not who I expected for you, but good. Honest, he will take care of you." "I don't need someone to take care of me, Dad." "No, but you need someone who will stand beside you. He will do that." The wedding was on a Saturday afternoon in early autumn, in a garden overlooking the city. Emma was the flower girl, wearing a purple dress she had picked out herself. Zach stood at the altar in a suit Sophia had insisted on buying him, looking more handsome than she had ever seen him. When they exchanged vows, Sophia promised to love him and Emma with everything she had. Zach promised to be her partner, her equal, her home. There was not a dry eye in the garden. The reception was a mix of Sophia's corporate world and Zach's construction crew buddies, and surprisingly, the two groups blended well. Her COO ended up in a heated but friendly discussion about building codes with Zach's uncle. Emma danced with everyone, her joy infectious. That night, After Emma had been taken home by Zach's sister, Sophia and Zach sat on the balcony of their hotel room, looking out at the stars. "Happy?" he asked, unbelievably. "No regrets about marrying a construction worker. Not a single one, you." "My only regret is not finding your wallet sooner." She laughed and kissed him. "We found each other at exactly the right time." They honeymooned in Italy for 2 weeks, Emma staying with Zach's sister and sending them photos every day of her adventures. When they returned, they moved into a new house, something between Sophia's penthouse and Zach's small bungalow. A real home with enough space for all of them and a yard for Emma to play in. Life settled into a new normal. Sophia continued running Chen Industries, but she was more careful about balance, about making sure she was present for family dinners and Emma's activities. Zach got promoted to project manager, overseeing multiple construction sites. He still insisted on working, on contributing, and Sophia loved him for his pride and his work ethic. Emma thrived with 2 parents. Her grades were excellent, her dinosaur obsession continuing strong. She started calling Sophia Mom naturally, without prompting, and every time she did, Sophia's heart swelled. 2 years into their marriage, Sophia discovered she was pregnant. She took the test alone in their bathroom, staring at the positive result with a mixture of terror and joy. She had never planned on having children of her own, had always thought her career would be enough. But now, with Zach and Emma, the idea of growing their family felt right. She told them at dinner that night, setting the pregnancy test in the middle of the table. Emma spotted it first. "What's that?" "It's a test that tells you if someone is going to have a baby," Sophia said carefully. Emma's eyes went wide. "Are you having a baby?" "Yes." Emma screamed with excitement. Zach sat frozen, his fork halfway to his mouth. "Zach," Sophia said nervously, "say something." "A baby," he said finally. "We're having a baby." "Are you happy?" He stood up and pulled her into his arms. "Happy does not even begin to cover it." "So I'm going to be a big sister?" Emma asked. "You sure are, sweetie." "This is the best day ever." The pregnancy was not easy. Sophia had severe morning sickness for the first trimester and had to scale back her work hours. Zach was amazing, taking care of everything, making sure she rested, handling Emma's boundless energy. Emma helped too, bringing Sophia crackers and water, reading to her from her dinosaur books. Their son, Zachary Richard Young, was born on a Tuesday morning in May. He had his father's dark hair and his mother's serious expression. Emma declared him perfect but wrinkly and immediately appointed herself his protector. Watching Zach hold his son for the first time, tears streaming down his face, Sophia felt complete. This was her family. This was her life. Not the corner office or the board meetings or the billions of dollars, but these people who loved her unconditionally. Maternity leave forced Sophia to delegate in ways she never had before. She discovered that the company did not collapse without her constant oversight. In fact, with her trusted team handling day-to-day operations, Chen Industries continued to thrive. It taught her an important lesson about control and trust. When she returned to work part-time after 3 months, she did so with a new perspective. She was still CEO, still driven and ambitious, but she was also a mother and a wife. She could be all those things. She did not have to choose. Zach had taken paternity leave too, something his company had never offered before. When they pushed back, Sophia's lawyers had gotten involved, and suddenly Zach's company had a paternity leave policy. He spent those weeks bonding with his son, taking care of Emma, supporting Sophia as she recovered. Little Zach, as they called him to distinguish him from his father, was an easy baby. He slept well, ate well, and seemed content to observe the world around him with serious contemplation. Emma doted on him, helping with diapers and bottles, singing him songs she made up about dinosaurs. Their family settled into a routine. Mornings were chaotic, everyone getting ready for school and work. Evenings were sacred, family time with no phones or distractions. Weekends were for soccer games and museum trips and lazy afternoons in the backyard. Sophia's father visited more often, charmed by his grandchildren. He taught Emma to play chess and read to little Zach in Mandarin, determined that his grandson would be bilingual. His relationship with Zach improved too, the two men finding common ground in their love for Sophia and the kids. On their 5th wedding anniversary, Zach surprised Sophia with a trip back to the bus stop where they had met. They stood under the shelter, watching buses come and go. "Remember when you were just a terrified woman who didn't know how to take the bus?" he teased. "And you were a handsome stranger returning my wallet. Best wallet I ever found. Best day I ever lost my wallet." He pulled her close. "I love you, Sophia Chen Young. I love you too." "Any regrets?" "Not a single one." "You?" Only that Emma was right. Kissing is kind of gross. He kissed her anyway, long and deep. "But I can live with it." They went home to their kids, to their life, to their happily ever after. It was not the life Sophia had planned, but it was better. It was real. It was filled with laughter and love and the occasional dinosaur fact from an enthusiastic preteen. Years later, when Emma graduated high school with a full scholarship to study paleontology, Sophia and Zach sat in the audience holding little Zach, now a rambunctious 6-year-old who wanted to be a builder like his dad. They watched their daughter give her valedictorian speech, talking about the importance of curiosity and following your dreams. "We did good," Zach whispered. "We did great," Sophia corrected. Emma's speech ended with a story about finding your family in unexpected places, about the people who choose to love you becoming just as important as the ones you're born to. She looked right at Sophia when she said it, and Sophia understood. She was not Emma's biological mother, but she was her mom in every way that mattered. After the ceremony, Emma ran to them, cap askew, diploma in hand. "Did you like it?" "It was perfect," Sophia said, hugging her tight. "You were perfect." "Thanks, Mom," Emma pulled back, grinning. "So, about college. I'm going to need to take out loans because it turns out paleontology programs are expensive." Sophia and Zach exchanged a look. They had already set up a college fund for Emma, had taken care of everything, but Emma did not know that yet. "Actually," Zach said, "we have that covered." "What? How?" "Your mom and I have been saving. You don't need to worry about loans." Emma looked between them, tears forming. "You guys did that for me?" "Of course we did," Sophia said. "You are our daughter. We invest in your dreams." Emma hugged them both, little Zach squished in the middle complaining about the group hug. People took photos, capturing the moment, but Sophia barely noticed. She was too busy memorizing the feeling, the rightness of it all. That night back at home, Sophia stood in the kitchen making tea. Zach came up behind her, wrapping his arms around her waist. "Penny, for your thoughts? Just thinking about how different my life could have been, if I had not taken the bus that day, if you had not found my wallet." "Fate," Zach said simply. "You believe in fate." "I believe that some things are meant to be, some people are meant to find each other, even when they come from completely different worlds. Especially then. Balance, remember? You needed someone to ground you. I needed someone to remind me to dream bigger. We saved each other. We did." Sophia turned in his arms, looking up at the man who had changed everything. The construction worker who had returned her wallet and stolen her heart. The single father who had shown her what really mattered, her partner, her equal, her home. "Thank you," she said. "For what?" "For finding my wallet, for taking a chance on me, for giving me this life. Thank you for losing it, for letting me in, for loving me and Emma. Always." He kissed her forehead, and they stood there in their kitchen, holding each other, surrounded by the evidence of their life together. Photos on the walls. Emma's acceptance letters to college on the fridge, little Zach's drawings scattered across the counter. A life built not on money or status, but on love and commitment, and showing up for each other every single day. It had not always been easy. There had been challenges, moments when their different backgrounds created friction, times when Sophia's work demanded too much or Zach's pride got in the way. But they had worked through it all, learning and growing together, building something stronger than either of them could have built alone. Outside, the city lights twinkled in the darkness, millions of lives intersecting and diverging. Somewhere out there, another wallet was being lost. Another chance encounter was about to change everything. But here, in this kitchen, in this home, Sophia Chen had everything she needed. Her family was upstairs. Emma probably on her laptop researching her future college, little Zach hopefully asleep after the excitement of the day. Her husband was in her arms, solid and real and forever hers. And she was happy, truly, deeply, contentedly happy in a way she had never imagined possible. The CEO and the construction worker. The billionaire and the single dad. The woman who had everything except what mattered most, and the man who had taught her what really mattered. Their love story had started with a lost wallet and a simple act of kindness, and it had grown into something beautiful and lasting and real. Years from now, when they were old and gray, they would still tell the story. About the morning, Sophia decided to take the bus. About the wallet, Zach returned without expecting anything in return. About falling in love despite everything that should have kept them apart. About building a family and a life together, one day at a time. And every time they told it, they would hold hands and smile at each other, remembering. Grateful for the twist of fate that had brought them together. Thankful for every moment since, because sometimes the best things in life come when you least expect them. Sometimes, losing something leads you to exactly what you need. And sometimes, the person who returns your wallet might just return your heart too, giving you back something you didn't even know you had lost. A chance to be yourself, to be loved for who you really are, to build something real and lasting and true. Their story was not fairy tale perfect. It was better. It was real life, messy and complicated, and absolutely worth it. And as they stood together in their kitchen, the evening settling around them like a comfortable blanket, they both knew they would not change a single thing. This was their happy ending, and their happy beginning, and everything in between. This was love, real and true and forever. And it had all started with a lost wallet at a bus stop on a rainy Tuesday morning.